But Dr. Marvin, I can't let you have the car.
Get out of my way, Frank.
Please, Dr. Marvin, I don't want to lose my job.
Hello and welcome back to the Ask Johnny channel. Should we just continue to believe science even though we see evidence to the contrary? G'day Johnny, we're back for another beautiful episode. G'day Johnny, yeah, welcome back. Yeah, what the hell have you got for us today? Righto Johnny, we'll get straight onto it. This is from Bang Up 3 in Ireland. Hello to everybody in Ireland watching us. Keep doing so for Christ's sake, especially Bang Up 3. Johnny, Bang Up 3 asks Johnny, can we still trust science to be giving us the correct information? Sign. Bang Up 3 in Ireland, thanks Bang Up 3. Johnny, can we still trust science to be giving us the right information? Should we keep believing in science, Johnny? Well, I think we have to sort of keep believing in science, but there's one subject where I think science needs a radical new train of thought. Right, whatever. That being the history of the pyramids. The pyramids? Yeah, the pyramids. You know, when I was a little boy, but Johnny, Bang Ups doesn't mention when I was a little boy, Johnny, and you too, being 2 years younger than me, we used to sit up every Sunday night and watch a beautiful show of National Geographic. Yeah, we sat there all night, didn't we, Johnny? Yeah, back then they were the only science shows we got, Johnny, and we tended to believe every bloody word that came out of the narrator's mouth. And of course back then, if they told us the pyramids were built by a couple of thousand workers pulling these bloody great big boulders up the fucking ramp or lifting them up with ropes or whatever, we just believed it.
Since 1967, Dr. Walter Fairservice of Vassar College and the American Museum of Natural History has been excavating here in his continuing search for the roots of civilization.
Here we have the walls of a princely complex that belonged to a king who lived here 5,000 years ago at the very beginning of Egypt's unification. He was a great king, powerful monarch. And yet, oddly enough, this powerful monarch, he left the place. He abandoned it. And that's part of the reason we're exploring this area, to find out why. Why at the very beginnings of Egypt's history do we have a place as important as this abandoned?
By reconstructing their techniques and methods, will these teams manage to unlock certain secrets of these great builders?
If King Ramesses or whatever he is bloody called, he built the pyramids for his own bloody, our own bloody funeral, well we just said, yeah, well that's what they're telling us, it must be right.
Bravo! Bravo!
Thanks to you guys.
Thanks to all of us.
It took us about 8 days to finish this experiment. Now we just have to transport it. The tools didn't wear down too much, and we used about 3 quarts of water for the experiment. Without the water, it would have taken us 2 or 3 times longer.
Frank believes that by using water, ancient Egyptians, who were more experienced than the men on his team, could have cut a block in 4 to 5 days at the most. But what did they do with...
But Johnny, I'm not a 10-year-old boy anymore, which must be painfully obvious. Yeah, well, I'm starting to bloody question things that seem to be painfully obvious to anyone who takes the time to have a look. So no one questioned it at all, Johnny. We all just went along and said, yeah, well, that's what they're bloody telling us. Yeah, well, we are just a couple of dumbass YouTubers, Johnny, after all. But when you get millions of people with cameras and there's the internet and there's YouTube and all sorts of bullshit, they start showing you things that you didn't even know existed. We got National Geographic shows, Johnny, that showed this sort of bloody stuff.
In gods. To prepare their journey into the afterlife, the rulers constructed elaborate tombs, including the Great Pyramids at Giza and underground mausoleums in the Valley of the Kings.
That's all very well and good, but they never bloody showed us this.
And perhaps even larger issue for the mainstream theory here also. And that is that the specific nature of the tool marks, the striations and cuts that we can observe on ancient basalt and granite, support an entirely more sophisticated solution than a simple flat bar drag saw that is grinding away at it with sand. In fact, some of these marks flat out disprove that a flat drag saw was the tool used to cut the stone.
Well, this bloody stuff. Johnny, are you trying to tell me that that the Egyptian archaeologists don't know what they're fucking talking about in any... That was never even mentioned.
Remember in the earlier quote from Flinders Petrie, when he wrote that the only possible explanation for some of the markings was the use of a circular saw? Although the use of circular saws to cut stone in antiquity is summarily dismissed by mainstream Egyptology, including by Robert Morse in his paper proposing flat drag saws, they cannot cite any specific evidence for this dismissal, and they have no explanation for striations and marks such as these.
And I've come round to the theory, Johnny, that perhaps the ancient Egyptians didn't build the bloody pyramids at all. No, they never... Yeah, that's right. They didn't build them at all. They were just already there for thousands of years, and the Egyptians just come along and said, holy shit! And of course the Pharaoh comes along and he says, by Jesus, I want to be buried in that. You're going to bloody bury me in there. Whereas the bloody pyramid might have been built by some bloody advanced civilization 6,000 years before the fucking Pharaoh was even born. You start to question what the hell was going on. But back in the 60s, Johnny, when we were little boys on the farm with black and white TV, that sort of stuff was not even bloody mentioned. Yeah, every Sunday night, Johnny, we used to sit there, that's right. And I think it was because the scientists didn't have a bloody explanation for it in the first place. Yeah, that's right. And don't you mention aliens, Johnny, don't you mention that bullshit. Well, what did you think of that? Yeah, a wise man once said to me, he said, Johnny, you're a fucking idiot. Pyramids have been there for... They've been there